top story tonight, some going down in November.
Wars, spending.
There has got to be something big a-brewing.
They're using geese to guard prisons in Brazil. Does Biden know what
Immigration
Mexico
policies.
is? Would you scare Joe Biden? What are we laughing at? I think
Butthole.
Billy Mays was real.
I'm a world-class skeptic.
I don't know anything about Hunter Biden. I don't know who's big into cocaine and laptops. Why is that our problem? Complete, absolute incompetence. Like, who funds the news? It's a freaking inside job, man. That the entire world's a stage and everything's fake.
Welcome back to another episode of the Veritas Road. Carson back here with Murph. Our top story tonight, thousands of women across the country took to social media earlier today to express their shock and disbelief at the groundbreaking new study just published by the Journal of American Sexual Health and Communication, which found that your husband about bullshit nonsense all day every day may actually be the primary cause of erectile dysfunction among married couples. The researchers went on to suggest that shutting the up and swallowing may actually help to reverse the damage. And that's the news.
Well, probably a lot of truth to that. I think the biggest problem with erectile dysfunction is all the crap they're putting in the water and all the sugar. But the second biggest
Porn.
problem is that. Oh yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah.
Porn's one of the big ones. That's why like teenagers are getting
Yeah.
ED.
Yeah. So that's probably number 3. So if you're going Family Feud,
Right.
you've hit an answer. So well done.
Yeah, what is Family Feud? The top 5?
Yeah, from a survey. But then, like there'll be 99 people that say one thing and then one person will say one thing.
Right.
And that'll
Who
be
the
it.
hell are they surveying? Like
100 people, apparently.
but who are these people? Is it the studio audience? Is it, like who
I
are they
don't know.
surveying?
I don't know how it works. I know Steve Harvey is funny.
He's pretty funny.
Is he good or bad? Do we like him?
I don't know.
Is he a lib?
Did he get pegged for sexual assault or something? That's what all those people are getting pegged for these days, Has he Cosby'd?
Like the hashtag Me Too movement?
Right.
Weinstein?
Yeah. Freaking Weinstein, Cosby, Kevin Spacey, Louis C.K., all those people, like they're all getting, which
Yeah.
Louis C.K. didn't really, he just jerked off in front of a bunch of people.
I mean, that's still pretty screwed up.
Yeah, but I mean, like, he didn't, like, drug anybody, they could just leave, I feel like that's fundamentally different
Well,
than me
Carson-
drugging you.
I mean, maybe, but that's still
I still
big
messed
time,
up.
big time issues there.
He apologized and stopped.
Well, he apologized because he got caught.
Right.
So,
Also, I think a bunch of them were like, hey, can I jerk off in front of you? And people are like, yeah.
well, it doesn't surprise me.
So in that case, it's consensual. So people should shut the up.
You can consent to things that are wrong.
Well, yeah.
So,
But the issue was that it was like, forcing it upon people. And I don't think
and
that's what a good chunk of it was.
Not that it's just effed up in general.
Right. Because, like, if me asking you, like, hey, man, can I rub one out in front of you? And you being like, yeah, go for it. Is much different than if I just, like, barged in here with my dick in my hand.
John, we're having that same sound of a cat dying. Did you hear that?
It's from his mic.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said John. Louis C.K., I tell you a fun fact about him before we get started in this episode. What's his name, dude? He was Trevor in 2 different movies, or one in a movie.
Adam Scott?
Adam Scott, thank you. Yeah, he's scared of Louis C.K.
He's scared of Louis C.K.?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he's a cop.
Oh, I see. You're making a Parks and Rec joke. That was terrible.
Yeah, it would have been better if I could remember his name. I just remembered him as Trevor in both The Good Place and Step Brothers.
Right.
Which are both fantastic. Let's get Adam Scott.
So, that'd be wild. Let's talk about the other on the news this week.
Yeah, that was going nowhere, so sorry about that.
That was weird. Just, we'll start with my first one, and maybe we'll go back and forth this week. What do you
I like
think,
that.
Mike?
I like
Let's do
that zigzagging approach.
Yeah, that could be fun. So, Nick Fuentes apparently is facing battery charges with a woman after he posted like "Your Body, My Choice" on Twitter, to be funny, to be cheeky, as you would like to say. And she came to his house to, I guess, like him out. So that's
Okay.
problem number 1. but allegedly, and police found no damage to her later, but allegedly he like sprayed her with pepper spray and pushed her off the curb. But they found no bodily damage to her, and I think it says somewhere she just had like her eyes were a little teary. That was what was so bad.
So this woman is suing Nick Fuentes for that?
Right.
Even though
No, he's got arrested.
He got arrested for battery.
The government.
Yeah.
well,
He spent I don't think he even spent a full day in jail.
don't you
and he
have
got
to have
released.
something to go on? You can't just be like, hey, but somebody can go in and say anything, and then they come arrest you. Like,
Well, there's a
Right.
video. Like, she videoed it happening.
I
so-
couldn't find
so
it.
then
I
why
tried
you-
to find the video. I couldn't find the video.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I
then
saw it. So I can look it up on Twitter while y'all talk.
Yeah,
but
see if you can find the video then, John, because I couldn't find it. And so I'd like to see it to see if like it's anywhere near as bad as she's alleging. Oh look, it's Ben Shapiro. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting.
yeah, he looks like hell.
He's getting old.
Yeah, I don't. Without the video, I wouldn't know what to say to that.
Right.
Other than you got to be delusional to go all the way to his house over a post on Twitter. Like, how does he know? How does she know where Nick Fuentes lives? I guess you could Google it.
That's a little creepy, right?
he got doxxed on Twitter after that happened. Somebody
Somebody
posted
posted his
crap,
address.
Yeah.
Probably his
Dang.
mom, dude. I wouldn't trust Nick Fuentes' mom, would you?
He looks like kind of a I'm not gonna lie.
He is.
Here's the video.
All right, let's see it. Oh, he just comes out swinging. She drops her phone. He literally like opens the door with pepper spray pointed at her. Well,
Yeah.
let that finish, John. Let it keep going. Let's see if anything else happens. He's just at his house. All right, so nothing else happens. Dang. That's not much to go off of.
Yeah, we don't really know what happened before. Like if he has like private property, no trespassing, and clear signage up, then that girl's screwed, right?
I guess it depends on
Now-
what state they're in, but yeah.
Now,
In
if
Illinois, it's in Chicago.
if she doesn't, then maybe you could argue, well, how did Fuentes know her intent? Like maybe she was just coming to just yell, and like, you know, he would have to tell her, hey, get out of here before. And then if she didn't, he would be entitled to do that.
Right. Well,
Uh,
that poses an interesting question, I think, is like, do I have a right to take non-lethal aggressive action against anyone on my property for any reason, or do they need to pose some obvious threat to me before it's appropriate for me to do that?
If you tell them to get out, you do. If you tell them to get out and they don't get out, you have every right to get their butt out of there,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Right, but let's just assume it's just some person who's there. We haven't interacted, but I just want them the hell off my property.
Well, then tell them that. Don't assault them before making that known.
Yeah, and I would agree with you.
We don't know what happened before that. We don't, unless you've got like signage and like that's a whole
Right.
nother thing. With we had an incident with that one time. Remember that?
No.
When we were in a certain place and we were told that we were trespassing.
Oh, you and I were in a park.
Right, and then I was
And-
like, actually, no, that's not true.
Yeah. So well, I mean, let's just tell us. Like you and I were in a park here in
Yeah.
Columbia, and we were walking around just in a park at night, which is
Yeah.
like people do that. And a cop like basically pulled us over while we were walking, and was like, "Hey, you're trespassing." It's like,
And I was like,
no,
no, man. If you tell us to go and we don't, then we're trespassing.
Yeah.
If we're voluntarily going, then you have absolutely nothing on us.
Well, and it's just outside of like the letter of the law stuff, which I think a lot of that is kind of nonsense, especially in regards to a public park. Like, how am I trespassing in a public park? How are you going to trespass me from a public park?
Well, that gets into the whole, everything's actually a corporation thing, but
right, but the point is, like, it's supposedly there for public use. What the hell?
what if you're doing drugs, dude? What if you're out there smoking weed?
Right.
Okay, that's sinful,
Oh no.
right?
It'd be the end of the world. We weren't. You and I were literally just walking around.
Yeah, I don't even know how to smoke
Um,
weed or where to get weed.
Right. Me
I do know what it looks like, so I guess I do have something going for me.
That's
in,
true.
in the realm of cool kids.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'd have to know what happened before with Fuentes, but even if he was, even if he did screw up, like, what you gonna do? Like, what you gonna get for that? Like a fine?
Yeah, that's
You know?
that's it.
She clearly went there with bad intentions,
Right.
no matter what happened.
Yeah, she wasn't there to give him a plate of cookies.
Right, or be like, hey, donate to the Salvation Army. No, she was there. She was pissed, and he
Right.
knew it because he came out swinging.
Yeah.
Maybe he should have said something first. Maybe he did. We
Maybe
don't know.
he did.
We don't
It-
know if he
yeah.
screamed through the window or if he had signs up, or you don't know what
Well,
happened.
The video doesn't start till she's right on the door.
Yeah.
And so, like, the question is, what are the circumstances surrounding that event? But MSNBC wrote a whole ass news story on it. So
That's
there it is.
right. And Fuentes, I'm sure they'll say, is a white supremacist.
They
He-
did. I think it's in
Uh,
the it's in the article somewhere. They call him like a neo-Nazi, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. Alt-right. It's one of their favorite terms,
Yeah.
which just means nothing.
And everybody thinks everybody's a misogynist now too. That's in the title of the article. They call him some kind of misogynist, right wing.
Does that mean
weirdo.
a women hater? Is that what misogynist
Yeah,
means?
sexist.
Okay.
More
Well,
or less.
sexist, misogynist would be like a specific sexist.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. A man who is sexist against women.
So you can't have women misogynists.
you could.
That's that's something to look out for. Do you think that?
For what? Your
I don't know.
your discrimination bingo card. Find
I know.
find a woman misogynist.
Just keep that category open. You got to be listening. Connect that with the free space. You might win something on MSNBC.
That could be the next thing we sell along with the mailboxes. Discrimination bingo.
That's a good idea. That's a really good idea.
That could be. I think that's the next big
Yeah.
thing to sweep the nation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could totally sell that on like Amazon or Etsy or something.
Right. Hasbro, give us a call.
Yeah, you have really hit something. We got
Discrimination bingo coming soon.
yeah, we can have like just like sexist things to call out.
Right.
I'm excited.
Right. This is what I'm going to work on at the office all week. Okay, so yeah, that's that one. I just thought that was strange.
Yeah, it's crazy. The fact that she would show up, like, oh my
Right.
gosh, like, get over it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a freaking internet post.
And he just posted like, "Is your body my choice?" He was trying to be a online. It's people do that every day.
just block him if you
Get
don't
over
like
it.
Fuentes. Just block him. You can
Exactly. Yeah. And move on with your life.
do that. Yeah.
If your life is so sad that it bothers you enough that he put that out there, that you go to his house, you're not a useful human being anymore. Ugh. Anyway, all right, what do you have?
Yeah, so John hit on that first one. Let's see if I can remember what it was.
Really inspired
Um,
confidence, buddy.
Oh, yeah, dude. What do you think about this? So somewhere in Asia, somebody was committing fraud for a ton of money,
All
right?
right.
I don't know what that symbol is. Is that a euro? What is that symbol?
That's the.
That's a pound
yeah, it's the
symbol.
English pound.
Yeah. So somebody was given the death penalty over $34 billion in fraud. So I just wanted to talk about and I'm pretty sure this is in like one of those Southeast Asia countries.
Do you know anything else about it?
Vietnam.
They use the pound in Vietnam?
I think it wasn't it. No, Vietnam was French, wasn't it? One of those was English. I think French Indochina. It's mostly France, but I just wanted to know I wanted this article to bring up an ethical discussion. Like, is there
Yeah.
enough of a amount you could steal to warrant the death penalty?
I would say no.
Because I mean, heck, that would certainly stop people from committing fraud if you just killed them.
I would suggest that
And mostly
That's-
that this was just very kind of. It sounds terrible, but hilarious.
right. It is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like, just fraud and
Yeah.
you get the death penalty.
Well, I mean, it's not
Come
just
on.
fraud. I mean, $34 billion or
Right.
$34 billion pounds.
Well, I mean, it's still just fraud.
Oh, well, I also wanted to say the government's committed way more than 34 billion pounds in fraud against us. Where's their death penalty?
Right. But sticking to one point. So your first comment about like the ethical dilemma of like, is it even okay to have that sort of a penalty for just stealing a bunch of money? I would suggest that is a gross overstep. Like, that's insane. Like, sure, you stole a bunch of money. You defrauded someone, probably a bunch of rich people, right? And stole a bunch of money. All right,
Yeah.
let's punish you for it. But killing somebody, that's too far. That's way too far.
It was 34 billion pounds.
How much did Bertie Madoff take? You
I
know?
don't know. Well, no, it wasn't that 34 billion, dude. That's like That's got to be like within the top 50 richest people in the world.
I
right?
mean, nobody's trying to kill the Clintons. Nobody's trying to kill Ghislaine Maxwell. They were child
Yeah, I know.
traffickers.
That's half my point. Like, it's kind of funny when it's this Vietnam story.
Right.
And, like,
Diddy's just in prison.
right. But there's been greater crimes than that.
Yeah.
And people live. So I don't know.
So, I mean, I would file this under the heading of overreaction.
Okay. All right. Well, that's what I wanted to know, your opinion on it.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about it. Like, did he steal $34 billion from the rich or from the poor? Because that kind of makes a difference.
And that
in
would
my
make a
mind.
difference in how you think about it, for
Right.
sure. But at the end of the day, it just seems like too drastic of a penalty for stealing. I get it. It's stealing a lot. A lot is an understatement, but it's still just stealing. Maybe cut his hand off if you're really feeling nasty that day, you know? But the death penalty is crazy.
I just thought that was a...
These militaristic Asians, look at that. Look at that.
I
Look at
know,
that fat
man.
guy
They're
right
all
there.
communist over there. They say Laos and Cambodia and all that. It's just totalitarian. Who
Yeah.
knows? I don't know.
That's what they all say.
Never been there.
Well, what do you think
About this?
about is it appropriate to have the death penalty for somebody who's just made off with 34 billion pounds?
I think it depends on the who they stole from, you know. Right, if like it's kind of a Robin Hood. If you're stealing from the rich, 34 billion pounds, I'd be like, all right, you know, exploit the exploited.
Yeah.
If you're stealing from
Exploit the exploiter is what you were trying to
that's
say.
what I meant. If you're stealing from, thank you, Carson.
Those are drastically different.
If you're stealing from basically people who are already destitute, then that's kind of a whole different thing. Should you die from that? Like, dude, I don't know. I really don't know.
My problem with that
I
is,
think you got to leave that up to God.
yeah, well, there you go. That is such a final judgment.
Yeah.
You know? Like, there's no going back on that. If you decide later, like, maybe that was a little harsh, you know? Like, you can do that with a 20-year prison sentence, right? You're like, it's been 10 years, let him out. But if he's dead, like...
Yeah, prisons are mass. Here's what I would do. Exile. Be like, all right, here's a duffel bag full of stuff. You're going in the middle of Siberia, right? You're going in
That's
the middle.
basically the death penalty.
Well, give them a bag full of stuff, and then be like, we don't ever want to see you. Kind of like how God marked Cain, be like, hey, we don't ever want to see you again. You know, there's something to be said about exile.
Maybe, yeah.
You know, so
Is that more or less humane than just shooting him up with lethal drugs?
not if you just left him out there with nothing, but if you gave him some provisions, a duffel bag, like I'm saying, a duffel bag full of crap, enough to survive. You know, maybe give them a bow and arrow or something. I don't know. Something could be weighed together, like a bunch of minds getting together. But I think exile is a form of punishment that we need to bring back.
Bring back exile. That'll be your campaign for president.
Yeah.
Bring back exile.
Yeah.
All right, on to the next.
Yeah, let's get your next one. Why is that so huge? You see that?
I copied and pasted it, and
Oh.
copied the original font.
Okay.
So that's why it looks... MSNBC is writing about the end of Taylor Swift's Eras Tour, which in and of itself bothers me. But what they're also doing is suggesting that she's ending it, and this is they're kind of subliminally suggesting this throughout the article, but she's ending it because Donald Trump is going to be the president. They're also suggesting they were hoping that all of these moronic Swifties would come out in like force to try to vote against Trump. And all I could think of while I was reading this article is I can't think of a population that should have less of a right to vote than people who go to Taylor Swift concerts. Like, those people shouldn't be voting for anything.
Dude, the amount of like insane cult-like behavior when it comes to Taylor Swift. Like, Taylor Swift is like Buc-ee's times 10 million.
Right.
You just got people who are just like, oh, and it's unnatural, it's frequency-based, and they're all like mega on the download, you know.
It's so weird.
But, dude, that's super interesting, man. The end of an era.
Yeah.
Trump's becoming a president. There's something to that right
Right.
there, okay? Taylor Swift is mega occult. And, you know, a terrible, probably not even a real person anymore. She probably died in 2012. But that's very interesting, dude. Very interesting.
Yeah. Jeez, I just can't stand
Yeah,
her.
me too, man. especially post 2013 when she went pop.
Right. Yeah, Teardrops on My Guitar was great.
And Turn from Country. You
Yeah.
know, her old stuff, Mean and Love Story. You know, the old stuff is
All right.
it's teenage garbage, but it's still, I mean.
Well, my teenage garbage self really got down with some of those songs.
Yeah, but everything after she moved from Nashville to New York is super creepy, and she's creepy. And Travis Kelce's also creepy and is just a pawn for Pfizer.
Got some nice-ass legs, though. Taylor Swift, not Travis Kelce.
Jeez, Carson. You're a little late there. Because you were talking about like a 34-year-old man wanting his legs.
I was talking about the 34-year-old woman. I think
Yeah.
she's a 34-year-old woman.
She is. It's right there. She's
Right.
from Wyoming. Wyoming.
What are you trying to say?
That name, Wyoming, Pennsylvania is where she's from.
Yeah. All right. Great. So, yeah, I just thought that was really weird, what with her tour ending and Trump taking office. Granted, I think her tour is ending like a couple of months before Trump actually takes office.
Dude, I
So.
think I would go so far as to say the whole point of that article was revelation of the method, that it's the end of an era with Trump taking office. But
That is so.
but
Wow.
you know how
That's a big statement.
You know how I am with the conspiracy theories.
Ugh.
I'm not saying I know that, but that would be my just first reaction, just because that's
Right.
what they do. That's how they do business.
Yeah, the thing that just bothers is just like people who go to Taylor Swift concerts. I'm all for like everybody should have basic, we all have basic, but those people should not be allowed to make decisions for themselves, much less influence anyone else. Get them out.
I don't know how you afford it. I mean,
Get them out. Send them on a plane to Epstein's. I don't care what we do with them, but get rid of those sons of.
how much do you think it would cost to go to a Taylor Swift concert? Probably more than the Eagles.
Oh, dude, it's a lot. Yeah. People pay thousands of dollars.
I know, it's wild, man. And then they're like, "Oh, it's up to the government to help the poor, but we'll spend $3 million going to a Taylor Swift concert."
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it's just late stage debt-based corporate just decay. That's what
Yeah, I
that
think
is.
it said somewhere in this article that this tour, in and of itself, brought in over $1 billion in revenue.
Lord.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
So, all right, moving on.
yeah. Thanks for gracing us with Taylor Swift, John. Hit my next one there.
You're welcome. That's not his next one, John.
hypertext transfer protocol telegraph. That one. Yeah. All
There we
right.
go.
Let's see if I can remember what this is. Oh yeah, so probably one of the second biggest thing going on in this news cycle right now, other than that dead CEO,
Right.
is this thing. So they finally think about how happy the neocons are right now. Pompeo, Bolton, Bush, Daddy Bush and his ethereal demon spirit, Cheney, all of them.
Is Bush Sr. still alive?
No, he died like 5 years ago.
Okay.
They finally got Assad out of there, right? Obama tried. Allegedly, he failed.
Right.
But now Assad's gone from Syria. The CIA has now taken over Syria because Lord knows those rebels aren't funding themselves. Oh, it's a rebel government. No, it's the CIA. We gave them $20 billion. Just
Right.
like we do with every other rebel government, Gaddafi, all of them.
Yeah.
So, and now he's allegedly in Russia. And Russia's giving him asylum. So they're just setting up the dominoes for World War III. Israel
Right.
wins again. Big surprise. Iran is in big trouble now, right? Because there wasn't Syria kind of a bastion with Iran, kind of some kind of weird middle ground, but was still mostly on the side of Iran. So there's just another
Right.
domino falling in the Middle Eastern conflict. And who even knows, dude? Who
That
even
is-
knows?
Yeah.
I don't know where does Erdogan stand on Iran? Is he on their side? There's a few more dominoes still to fall before we get to Iran, right? But that was a big one, man. That was a big one. It's been going on for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I think this is probably just as momentum as when Libya fell. What do you-
Well, I don't know because I don't follow politics very much. But, I mean, it's dominated the news cycle, and it does seem like a big deal. We've been after that motherfucker for a minute.
yeah, what'd he do? What did Assad do? Is it a babies
He's
in
a
incubators?
terrorist. He's a
Well,
terrorist.
So
They're all terrorists.
The main claim that they've tried to make twice is that in the Obama administration and under the Trump administration, they made the claim that he went into chemical warfare against Syrian civilians.
I've heard that.
But they never
That is
actually
what they said, yeah.
they've never actually legitimately proven that. In my opinion, the real thing is that he's aligned with the Shiite Muslims in Iran, and Israel doesn't like that.
Right.
right? Because basically it's why we fought Iraq War II, to push the Shiite Muslims out of Iraq, and they're aligned with that
That'd be a
group that we
great
fought in
name.
Iraq War II.
Be a great name for a video game, Iraq War II.
So, all right, we got Sunni and we've got Shiite.
Right.
Right, and we're pushing Shiites east. Is that what we're doing? We're pushing them all east? Because Iran is like the most east of all the Muslims, isn't it? And it's like their last. It's like freaking Gondor Muslims is Iran. And you know what? I hope they last. What did they do to us, y'all?
They haven't done much. They haven't done anything to
Why?
us, really.
Why are we spending so much money? Why do we care what happens to Assad? Why are our guys over there? Let them squabble. Let Sunni and Shiite squabble over that, and let's spend the $20 billion we're giving freaking Boeing on, how about a bridge, Bridges in Cleveland. What if the feds gave a grant to that, Or all kinds of stuff.
A bridge?
I don't know, the pipeline. We always talk about the Keystone Pipeline. If you're going to spend, instead of giving it to Assad or whoever, the rebels that got him out of there, give it to the Keystone Pipeline or build another pipeline.
That's a great idea.
Let's have
hurricane relief.
Let's have a Lock Rock pipeline. We can have a kind of like a kind of inverse of it. I don't know.
A Lockheed Martin and BlackRock. Is that what you're getting at?
Sure.
A Lock Rock pipeline.
Sure. That's similar to Keystone, Lock Rock.
Right.
So let's just get it done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that wasn't the you weren't trying to make.
Well,
that
maybe I'm an
point.
operative for those guys.
Maybe.
And I've infiltrated.
Does that mean you're going to try to kill the president?
This deep? Well, have I been in any ads?
Not that I'm aware of.
That's for you to find out.
I'll have to see. We'll see if your place is scrubbed after they murder you.
Yeah. What?
They scrubbed that guy's whole place after he tried to shot at Trump.
Oh, the first guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that was that's the definition of a patsy, is that guy.
Right. For sure. For sure. But no, that's like and if he's in Russia, like Trump's buds with Putin, can't we just be like, "Hey Putin, can we have him?"
I don't know, they're like setting up that World War III tension, which would be like, "Oh, everybody hates Russia. Now they've got a side. They've got Julian Assange. Is Julian Assange still there?" No, not him. Snowden.
You're talking about Snowden.
Yeah, Snowden's still there.
Yeah.
Like, they're harboring all of these United States traitors, right? But then Trump is weirdly...
Snowden's not a traitor, though.
Well, he is in the mainstream. And they're, like, weirdly aligned with Trump. Trump and Putin are, like, friends, but not. And it's all this weirdness, and they're just making the powder keg even more powdery for when it's time.
It's going to be wild.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it is hilarious that you said, what did Iran do to us? What in the mainstream, what the guys who have taken over Syria did to us, in their view, they knocked down the Twin Towers. This is Bin Laden, Al Qaeda Bin Ladenites who have taken over Syria that the United States have backed. And I'm seeing today that Joe Biden is already, going into drone strikes to kill these guys.
Right.
It's like they backed these guys to overthrow Assad. Now they're going to have to go in and kill all these guys because these guys are enemies of the United States too.
Yeah, well, I mean, all it is just Lockheed needs another check. Raytheon needs another check.
Yep.
Like, no one is ever going to be like, we're okay with whatever government is in power in Syria or in Iraq or in any of the countries in the Middle East and 99% of Africa. Like, nobody's going to be like, oh, we're good with them.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen. I mean, it's all bull. It's all just let's roll the same news script across the screen one more time. It's nonsense. It's complete nonsense.
Get the baby boomers to be like, "Oh, we got the terrorist,"
Right.
And any retard who thinks that these cave-dwelling, basically Indians who just live in caves, the fact that they can overthrow an entire government on their own funding when they're like selling corn at a farmer's market. Okay, this has got CIA written all over it. If you think their funding comes from some kind of bazaar, BAZAAR, then you're an idiot.
And the wild thing is, some 55-year-old man, right, when they go in to kill these sons of is going to be screaming in his underwear in front of his TV like he pulled the trigger himself, which blows my mind. It's like people who talk about college sports like, hey, we're doing great this year. Like they actually were out on the field playing. People do the same thing, but with we got Bin Laden. We got Osama.
That's what I was...
What? No, you didn't.
That's
we didn't get anybody.
Yeah, I was totally thinking that when you were on that rant. Was exactly. Everyone was cheering at baseball games when Bin Laden allegedly went down. Even though he died in 2002 and he was a CIA asset named Tim Osman. But we got him in 2011. But there's no footage. Everything is green. No one knows. And then a bunch of people died in a helicopter crash that allegedly did that. Yeah, it's all just propaganda. There's nothing more. It's propaganda.
Which didn't. This is not completely related, but didn't. Wasn't there an act passed recently that basically suggests it's okay for intelligence agencies to put out propaganda? Like, that's publicly acknowledged now in U.S. policy. I'm pretty sure that's a thing.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I don't know if that was recent, but I have heard of that. That hey, it's just okay to do propaganda now.
Right. Well, not just to do propaganda, because we've been doing that. We've been doing that overseas, admittedly, for a long time. But the suggestion is that we just passed an act that makes it okay for the three-letter agencies to propagandize our own citizens, which is another thing entirely.
Yeah.
And that's
It's some kind of act. I think John's looking it up.
horrifying.
But that's been around.
But that's
forever.
going to be hard to track down. Like, that's going to be some specific language hidden deep inside of a
I
bill.
think what you're talking about is the Smith-Mundt Act that was passed in 1948.
That is not what I'm thinking of.
It was. I know what you're thinking of. It's not. This is probably what you're thinking of. Repeals. U.S. repeals.
Oh, it was a ban that got repealed.
okay.
I
Okay.
think that's what you're thinking of because I remember hearing about this.
Wow.
Yeah.
This was in 2013, though.
You surprised?
It
I'm
was
not.
something that was supposedly within like the last year or two, but I don't know. If I can find it later, we'll cover it. But if not, we'll just move on for now. What's my next one, John? I'm starting to lose track of which ones.
You're on
I've looked
number.
at. I'm
You're on
trying to
number
remember.
3.
Let's see. So you and I were talking about this the other day. Like, what in the world is going on with this United Healthcare CEO?
I haven't looked at this at all. I just know it's blown up.
He was headed in to the Hilton in New York, and some guy just showed up and shot him with a 9mm. The wild thing is the bullets that he was shot with all had, I don't know if it was etched on them, but they were somehow marked with, I think it's like deny. I think it says it up there. John, scroll up. Nope. Scroll back down a little bit. Slowly. Stop. Delay, deny, and depose.
Wow.
Yeah. He marked the bullets with those words, which is it's like a mantra of a lot of insurance high level people. The idea of like delay the claim, deny the claim, depose people, that way you can come. Yeah. So that's what was etched on the bullets he shot him with.
Don't take this.
Supposedly.
Don't take this the wrong way, but that's kind of cool. Not that you should go murder. You shouldn't murder people. You shouldn't murder anyone in the Hilton. You shouldn't go up and shoot anyone. I'm not advocating violence.
Right.
But just take that fact that this dude etched bullets and was like using his own etched bullets. That's kind of like freaking John Wick, kind of cool.
It is kind of badass.
But yeah, that's I don't know anything about the United Healthcare CEO other than you probably are not a great guy to get that high. I don't know that. Maybe he was a great guy.
Who knows?
That is wild, man.
Yeah.
The only thing I know about that is there was like this weird sketchy guy in a taxi. You know anything about that? That's the only thing.
They had a little bit of footage of him, but they haven't been able to find head or tail of him since. They supposedly found his backpack within the last 48 hours, but that's been all they've been able to find of him. I found a couple of stories that say they found his backpack, but that's been it. He just showed up, shot the guy, and disappeared. And I mean, I can say from personal experience, people don't like insurance companies.
Yeah.
I've been a claims adjuster, and people hate insurance companies, and for good reason. Insurance is a scam, period.
And don't you think health insurance is the worst? Like the worst of all of them? Because, I mean, the freaking blue-collar people who have health insurance, they're like, all right, here's what's going to happen. I'm being HR from a company. We're going to take $400 out of your paycheck every single time, all right? And then if something happens to you, you got to pay $15,000. And you're winning.
And that's good for you.
That's why people hate health
Right.
insurance. They're the worst of all of them. Because at least car insurance, sure, it's a scam. Why do you have to have it? But at least it's only $90 a month, even if you get halfway decent. It ain't like freaking donkey stomping you,
Yeah.
Same thing for home insurance. Like your average home, what you're going to have a $2,500 annual premium.
Ish.
Health insurance is the worst of the worst, and Obamacare made it even worse, right? Because it just screwed everybody.
Well, I would suggest that even worse than that is the capture of the healthcare industry by health insurance companies. So what happened was, it used to be not all procedures were so procedures, medical procedures now in allopathic medicine, like in hospitals and in like a doctor's office, are like coded, right? So they have like specific codes that go with things they do. Like there's a specific code for an office visit or for them to do an MRI or whatever. And all of that plays into the insurance system. So what happened is insurance, right? Because your doctors know that insurance is going to pay. So the medical system is kind of captured by the insurance industry such that they're gonna tailor all of their methodologies to what they know insurance will pay for. And so now you have the insurance system dictating what kind of methodologies are, for lack of a better term, popular, what kind of methodologies are used, and really what kind of methodologies are available to their clients. And so what that ends up doing is creating a healthcare system that, as you know, keeps people sick, right? But is also dependent on the health insurance industry such that now costs keep rising because, again, we know the health insurance industry is going to pay. So if you don't have health insurance, right, and something does happen to you where you do have to go to an allopathic physician, it's cost prohibitive. You can't afford actual, like, emergency health care. It's not possible as a result of that. And even further, like, that's a big part of the reason why you see like actual holistic functional healthcare disappearing, because you can't code for that, right?
Oh yeah.
You can't walk into my office and have like a health coaching visit and me say, hey, go, stop eating right? Move a little bit more and maybe work on your relationships with the people. Like, I can't code for that to get paid from an insurance company.
Brother, 100%. Say we have 100 codes that these insurance companies dole out, okay? Just for the sake, I know it's more than that, but for the sake of argument.
Tens or hundreds
99% of those codes are going to be tied to prescriptions. These boys are in bed with pharma, okay? One code will be like, hey, go out and run, okay? You got just to have plausible deniability.
Oh, no, there aren't any.
But all these codes are for pills and prescriptions. They're all in bed together passing these laws, and pharma makes money, insurance makes money, doctors make money. So somebody's getting screwed.
Yep.
And it's you.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't getting no better.
100%.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything you just said there.
Keep you sick and broke.
It's a freaking joke, man.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was in the hospital, and this was,
10 years ago-ish?
No, 2017.
Okay, so 5 years, 7 years ago. It's 2024.
Yeah. It'll be 7.5 years ago.
You were in the hospital for a collapse lung?
Yeah, 9 days. For 9 days. It was $34,000. So, all right. Life's over.
And people just accept that. People are just okay with the fact that it's $34,000.
Right, 7 years ago. So just imagine now.
It's probably about 50 now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's outrageous.
Like, you go have a kid at the hospital, and you're, all right, 10 grand.
And I'm all for, like, capitalist health. Like, if a doctor is operating on me, I want that son of a to get paid, right? But this is another thing. Like, this isn't a guy setting his prices because he's, done a lot of work and is excellent at what he does. This is a whole nother animal.
Yeah, it's just like how the bank has taken over the money supply. The freaking insurance companies have taken over the doctor supply.
They have. Yeah, exactly. And it's not just doctors, too. It's like physical therapists, even a lot of chiropractors. Like, even people who kind of branch off into the realm of, like, functional, holistic healthcare, like, even a lot of them are captured by the insurance industry because, hey, if I can code for specific methodologies of trying to pretend to help you get better, then that's what I'm going to do because that's what ensures that I get paid.
Yeah, man, and that's in like I've seen this personally. I'm not going to say anything further than that because I'll get in trouble, but that's in like rehab from addiction. The companies that
it is, yeah.
They get freaking that's how they make their millions and millions of dollars just from insurance payouts on that,
100%. Yeah.
And housing people and coding all that crap. So you're 100% right.
Yeah.
It's also tied into the whole certification thing. To be some kind of, holistic guy, you got to go and I'm sure get some kind of well, who's funding these certifications and these boards and all that? It's freaking guys on these gigantic companies, or that they switch in and out of gigantic companies.
Right.
They'll be part of a nonprofit one day, but they're the former CEO of X, Y, and Z Insurance. It's a whole gigantic scam, and it's all top down. Screw the end guy.
It is 100%.
So I agree, man. That's way out of field of this guy dying.
Sorry.
Like, was he complicit in all that and deserve to die? Yeah, that's up to God. But It is interesting.
Yeah.
There's kind of like I'm sure this is intended to divide people. You've got the people who are like,
For
oh,
sure.
why are you killing somebody in broad daylight? How, and to be scared of somebody who might do that to you. And then you've got the Robin Hood people on the right who'd be like, well, I mean, he was probably a scumbag. Insurance sucks.
Yeah. Well, I read a number of
know.
articles about this particular incident today, and obviously some of them were spinning it like, oh, hey, a guy shot somebody. This is bad. Some articles were spinning it in towards the idea of like, this is indicative of the greater thought process about insurance companies as a whole. And I found that interesting. I didn't expect to read that. Whether that's good or bad, I couldn't tell you, but I didn't expect to read that on mainstream news.
Yeah, they'll probably float that idea out there and then tie it to RFK and then tie it to domestic terrorists of the alt-right, if I had to guess.
That's a good point.
I mean,
That did not
when they
occur to me.
finally find this guy, he'll be a Trump supporter. He'll be an RFK guy. He'll be dangerous, even though he's clearly a patsy. Like, who's got the money to etch their own custom bullets, right?
That's fair.
I mean, that's got government money, black budget written all over it, unless you're just some kind of insane master craftsman and spent your entire life to try and to assassinate someone, that seems a waste of a life, in my opinion. But, yeah, that's government done.
You think so?
I think so.
That's fair.
I mean, it's definitely government or corporate done, because it looks like that guy wasn't just doing it on his own just by watching the video. It looks like somebody hired him to me.
Oh, yeah.
That.
The way he disappeared.
Yeah.
Like, you're not doing that on your own.
Yeah,
He
no.
just disappeared.
Yeah, that's a freaking trained assassin, man. He's probably ex-Navy SEAL, ex-BlackRock, whatever, ex-United Nations mega soldier, patsy. Maybe he went rogue. Maybe it's freaking Jason Bourne gone rogue. Who knows, man? But,
Great movies.
old some kind of redneck or some kind of gangbanger from, the Bronx. He's not going to have custom etched bullets and get out of there like a freaking shadow in the wind. I mean, this is a
Right.
CIA op.
I will say, if he's connected to Hillary Clinton, it's definitely a suicide,
What?
What does
So
that mean?
because that's how all of the Clinton connection suicides go down, is somebody gets shot a couple times in the back and they kill themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, I see your
Whoa,
point.
yeah.
Okay, that was supposed to be a tongue-in-cheek
Oh, that
comment.
was a joke. Okay.
Okay. You're
Okay.
saying if the CEO was connected to Hillary Clinton, he didn't get shot. It was a suicide. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
All right. Next story.
Let's go to my next one, John. Is this about the drones or is that the last one?
I don't know. We're about to find
I don't
out.
care about Daily Express.
It got it.
Oh yeah. And the drones, dude. Why? First of all, why is this news?
What?
The Pope had a bruise.
Are you? Who's carrying this? Who wrote this article?
I don't know, but
Can you scroll up, John? And see who wrote. See.
It's from Express US.
I've never heard of that. All
Never
right.
heard of it either.
I just saw this and was like, oh, this is news. The Pope has a bruise. He's 88.
Wow.
He's gonna be 88 years old, and he has a bruise. And put it on the news. We're gonna talk about it. Like, what the heck?
How long is this article? That's even too long. I mean, I realize it's like 2 paragraphs, maybe, but that's too long. The Pope had a bruise.
Yeah, they're concerned about him. They say he's on a wheelchair.
Keep
Yeah.
scrolling down, John. I want to know if there's more text. If there's much more than I already see, then this is crazy. Keep going. Like scroll down quick. You can scroll back up and read it if you want. But okay, so that's it. Is that all the text?
That's it.
Seems to be.
So there's a whole page dedicated to to a bruise on the Pope's face.
Not just to this current bruise, but like in his past injuries.
Oh, we're getting
In
a medical
2017.
history on
Yeah.
Pope Francis. That's great. That's good to know. I'm glad to know about his personal injury history.
That's what I'm bringing.
Yeah.
That's what we're bringing to you on the Veritas
Isn't
Road.
this some kind of HIPAA violation?
But it's-
shouldn't we? Should we know this?
But maybe it's just planning in the mind to go with the end of the with Taylor Swift ending. He's like, oh well, the Pope's gonna die soon. Be worried about the Pope dying.
Get a new era.
Yeah.
New Pope,
Yeah,
new
man.
president, new Pope. Taylor Swift's done with her tour.
It's just all of these subconscious things add up, and obviously the point. Nobody gives a crap if the Pope has a bruise. Obviously, the point of that is to introduce some kind of ulterior or alternate message to your subconscious mind, in my opinion. Like, this is psychological warfare right here.
That?
Yeah. Just to implant in the normie's mind that, wait, something's going to happen to the Pope. Get me in fight or flight, you know. Clearly, he's this important global figure, and he's in trouble. And that just compounds with the 10 million other things you're seeing on the news. And I think this is straight out of...
I can't even conceive of a person thinking that about the Pope.
Nobody consciously thinks that, okay? That's the message that your subconscious goes through, because you're so tied to the whole, like, exterior creates your reality, the global, like, stuff feeds to you. And
Look, I don't disagree with the greater point you're making. I just don't see it with this.
What do you think the point of that is?
I think it's totally pointless. I think it's just bullshit.
Well, maybe you're more positive than me. I don't think anything they do is pointless, but that's just my opinion.
It's the internet. There's a ton of pointless stuff on there.
Well, not in corporate news. I mean, corporate news is
It's
all...
some tiny news operation.
Who do you think owns Express News?
I don't know.
I bet we could do a deep dive and we could find a corporate that has an LLC that does a DBA that's connected to some baddie. I'd almost guarantee that. I'd say 99%. But
now, if like CNN were carrying that article, I'd give you a maybe. But it's some random WHP Global.
there's like
Who
five.
owns
See, there's
that?
like five different
some
things. There was like
holding
five different
company.
things on there.
Yeah.
You know,
So
Just
who knows?
the corporate web is never ending.
Yeah, it's
That's my point.
apparently a subsidiary of of a large like newspaper in
Right.
Great Britain.
That's what a lot of those are.
Yeah.
So we don't
Yeah.
know.
And large newspapers in Great Britain will 100% have connections to the Crown and MI6 and all of that together. So that's my point. The corporate web is never as it seems. But Pope had a bruise. Sorry, bud.
I'm not going to sleep tonight.
Feel better, you reptilian shat.
All right. All right. Next article, please, John. Okay, so this one that we're about to look at, I couldn't read through the whole thing. But CNN ran this article as part of their, scroll back up for a second, John, part of their As Equals initiative, an ongoing series on gender equality, and that already pisses me off. But, what was the quote I pulled out on the Google Doc? The system doesn't understand a pregnant man. That was a quote from this gentleman in this article, who is a self-proclaimed man. It's a woman in Brazil who was upset that a man could not get an abortion.
Wow. Honestly, I'm surprised that this is Brazil and not California.
Right?
I don't even know what to say.
It's so wild.
Is Bolsonaro still in Brazil, John? Surely he would have weeded all that out. That's insane to me, dude.
Yeah.
And the fact that CNN's putting that on there, what do you even say to that?
I don't know. It's so absurd. You can't respond to a claim like that with reason. Can you? Like, what are you gonna tell that person?
That you're
You're out of your mind?
insanely mentally ill. You've had significant childhood trauma. You're being preyed upon by a gigantic corporate satanic system that wants you to think this way. I mean, I don't know. That's what I'd tell them.
But yeah, that's a legitimate quote from this person pulled from the article.
Well, this person is clearly mentally ill. Anybody who thinks men can become pregnant is mentally ill. Abortion is terrible. But men cannot have abortions because
Right.
only women can get pregnant.
That's how that works.
That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So in a way, why would you be mad about that? And no one should have abortions. So men shouldn't have abortions either, even though it's impossible. But if I were to spin it positively, I would agree. I would agree that men should not have abortions. I would agree with that because no one should. So we found something positive.
Least of all men.
Yeah, something positive out of that.
All right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Could you extrapolate that to like a food baby after you've eaten a frick ton of food? You know, and that should have to stay in you. I don't know. I'm trying to make some kind of connection.
I don't think that connection quite works.
Yeah. Because this whole thing's ludicrous, dude. It's ridiculous.
It's so insane. It's so insane. I couldn't believe what I was reading. I made it maybe like 2/3, half maybe, of the way through this article before I just gave up. I was like, I can't read any more of this.
Is CNN making this guy a hero or making this woman a hero? See, damn, it worked on me. Making this woman a hero. This is a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is some kind of hero, right?
Right.
Some kind
Well,
of
they
lesbian.
refer to it as a he throughout the whole of the article. You know they're going to do that. But are you highlighting that for a reason, John? Should I be reading that?
I mean, it's a 33. 2 + 1 and 3. It's just something I noticed.
Oh,
That pill's also a hexagon. There's Saturn, right?
I forgot what I was saying.
Yeah, I forgot what I was either because you just I forgot what you were saying because you went on that.
Yeah, that's my bad. Yeah, no, this is crazy.
2024, baby.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
So that's really all I had to say about that. We can move on. I just couldn't believe that article. I couldn't believe what I was reading.
Liberals, California, Brazil. What's the difference? All right, John, go to my last one. I only had 4. Oh, did I have 5?
It appears you had 5.
Oh, what's the 5th one?
We'll find out in a little bit.
Yes, we'll see.
I have no idea what the 5th one is, but this one, this is crazy, man. So for like 2 or 3 weeks, people have been seeing gigantic drones near Trump's golf course.
What the hell's going on with that?
Not just like, hey, I buy a drone at Walmart for $50, or I get a real fancy one from these companies that's like this big. A car-sized drone. How you imagine how terrifying that'd be?
Do they know that they're car-sized drones?
That's what
though?
people
I've
are
seen
saying.
This. I've seen this on and off the news, and I do they know? Have they seen them up close?
Well, no, because they're in the sky.
Have they seen them near something that they could, be able to compare?
I don't know. I'd like to see some video of these, but even if they're not car-sized, that's still freaking sketchy. Just drones flying everywhere near Trump's golf course.
That is weird.
Within, basically since after the election.
Well, I mean, could it be the Secret Service?
I don't know. If it's the Secret Service, why do they just not fly them and let some guy crawl on a roof and just shoot Trump?
Right.
Right?
Maybe they're actually trying to protect him now. Maybe they flipped the script.
No one is that incompetent. I don't care how much money you waste. I don't care that it's the government. If you are that incompetent, that's like...
Oh, yeah.
That's like a 4-year-old running the Secret Service.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, the idea that A, anyone was that incompetent, or B, they legitimately couldn't get on there because it was a sloped roof is moronic.
Yeah. And just the idea that, that somebody shot Trump, so now we're going to do our job seriously. We weren't before, but we're going to take it seriously now. No.
Right.
These guys get billions of dollars every year. They're some of the most highly trained people.
Yeah.
Except for the women that just juggle their guns. It's all a stage show that was. But
I mean, anyone who suggests that there's anything legitimate in that story is a moron. That's one of those news stories where there's no denying they're full of shit. There's no denying it at all.
Dude, there's one over Staten Island.
Yeah, I've been seeing these drone stories come up, and I've been seeing it on Twitter and a lot of different places.
Yeah, no, they've been talking about them in New Jersey.
Yeah,
they've been talking about them over Staten Island.
Is one at New Jersey.
Oh, I just assumed it was in Florida.
So yeah, I've been seeing a lot of these stories go around the past few weeks.
No, Trump owns a bunch of stuff, obviously. And when he's in the White House, he goes down, or he did go down for the weekend to his New Jersey golf course, or he went up to his New Jersey golf course, and that was it's called Bedminster or something. Isn't that right, John? Bedminster. It's like Westminster, but not. I think it's Bed.
That is insane. You got to wonder what they're doing there.
I know, man. It's just this more weirdness. Just when you think, everything's dying off, Trump just won. Or it's like, well, let's just introduce this story about random drones flying. Let's just keep it in the cycle, keep it in the mind. There's weirdness.
Yeah. Well, in conjunction with that, I saw an article about people seeing strange lights in and around the New Jersey area earlier today. And according to that article, the FBI was asking anyone with videos of the UFOs or UAPs or whatever they're calling them now, to turn that footage in because they weren't sure what it was. So was that these drones, or was that something different?
I don't know. It could be both. I've been hearing a lot of UFO stuff in the FE world too. I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird times to be alive.
Yeah.
First of all, never give anything to the FBI ever. All right, they have to have a warrant. It's called the Fifth Amendment.
These people are trying to help.
No, they're not. Fourth Amendment, excuse me. Is that the search and seizures? Fourth and fifth are kind of together, so I just lump them together. Yeah, man, they're not your friend, ever.
No.
Period. They're everybody's squabbling. Who's going to be the director of the FBI? Abolish the FBI. Okay. The marshals have federal authority in common law. Everything else should die. Like, as in cease to exist. Not the people should die. The corporate nature of them should die. And the people should go find something productive to do with their life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my opinion on the FBI. I don't like them. I don't know how you feel about the FBI. They're not your friend.
Right.
I'll tell you that. But if you think they are, then you're living in Stockholm Syndrome.
I've never given them much thought, to be quite honest with you.
I'm sure they're good FBI agents, good people.
You're really on this, aren't you?
But yeah, dude, because people act like, dude, all these shows on TV and like CBS and all these new dramas, they romanticize it so much. Like these guys are just heroes.
They do,
and they're out there violating rights left and freaking right and just seizing power all the time.
Well, half that problem
in their corporate totality.
Yeah,
you know?
half that problem is that we just let them. I mean, you can't just place the blame on them. It's people like me, people, like a bunch, a bunch of us are just like, yeah, cool. We don't say anything, we don't do anything, we don't put up it's just all right, it just is what it is. I'm just trying to help. I'm just trying to cooperate.
I know, man. And think about how masterful the propaganda is, because what do they say? People who do resist the FBI and that kind of federal authority, what do they view? What do they peg?
They're dangerous, dude.
Yeah, right. Ruby Ridge, man, it's Ruby Ridge all over again. The feds just killed that guy, that guy's wife and 2 of his kids, or whatever. I can't remember the specifics, but he was a terror. He was a domestic terrorist and a right winger, so it's okay.
I can't remember what went on with that, but I remember hearing about that story.
Yeah, the government just murdered people. That's what went on.
Well, you can say that, but that doesn't tell me what actually happened.
Look into it. You think I'm wrong?
I don't.
Look
I'm just saying that wasn't a helpful comment.
Yeah, it's just a joke, man. I wouldn't do anything with the FBI.
All right, good to know. Next story.
For you.
Yeah, well, whoever. Are we back? We're back to me. It's fine. I have extras anyway, so.
I think this is what
Yeah. Just go back to that. We're giving another $1 billion to Ukraine. We haven't given enough money to Ukraine. We're giving another $1 billion.
Yeah, Zelensky's got to buy some prostitutes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all this is. We're giving another $1 billion to Ukraine.
He needs it. I mean, think about Kyiv and all the stuff that's happened in Kyiv.
What the are they doing with that $1 billion?
They're probably buying prostitutes. They're trafficking kids. I mean, seriously.
And all of these morons who think we vote, who think they have some. I heard somebody mention this on a podcast on the way here. All of these idiots who think my vote matters. When have you voted on giving money to Ukraine? When does that happen? Somebody made that decision for your moronic ass.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody decided we're giving money, and there it goes. And granted, it's all fake money, but it's still insane.
Well, I mean, and I bet Republicans and Democrats agreed on this, didn't they, John? I mean, I haven't read this, but
Republicans and Democrats didn't even vote on this. This is just a defense secretary just saying money out of the executive department for the Department of Defense. I guess they've earmarked that for Ukraine.
Oh, that's not even.
So
that's not even
Congress hasn't even
There was no vote. They just decided.
Voted on
they
that.
just decided we're giving $1 billion to Ukraine.
Wow, not even Congress. Congress is bad enough.
It's like the Secretary of Defense, I think, right? Scroll back up. Is that who gave the announcement?
Yep.
Yeah. So you're just like, hey, we're giving more money.
And didn't the Pentagon just fail an audit for the 50th time in a row?
They've never.
They
I don't think they've ever made it through an audit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they had 50 audits and they failed 50.
Who the hell do they pay to audit them?
I don't know. IRS, your local CPA. It's a joke, man.
Who's editing Who's auditing the Pentagon?
Where would you even start?
I don't know.
That is just a joke in and of itself.
Colin Powell, is he still alive?
Did he die?
I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Yeah, he died in he was one of those big corona victims that they tried
Ah.
because I think he attended a Trump rally, caught coronavirus, and died. That's
Oh,
a story,
of
and
course
they
he
tried to
did.
pin that on Trump or something.
That's hilarious. I mean, it's not hilarious that he died, but that story is.
I mean, I think it is. That guy's a demon.
So yeah, I just thought that would be one more thing to upset you.
Does it even upset anybody anymore? It's just like, all right, yeah, just give it to him. You know, sure.
It's like right.
Party hard, man.
Yeah.
Get that cocaine. Get Hunter in there. Get the laptops in there.
It's like if you're a parent and you just keep giving money to your kids. It's like, yeah, I might as well just give money to the kids.
Seen that. happen.
Right. Yeah. You know, what else are you going to do with it? We're printing it anyway. Might as well give it away.
I mean, it's just like as Merle Haggard says, snowball going downhill headed for hell. Like, what you gonna do at this point?
Also, along this, yeah, right. You're not wrong. Along this same vein, speaking of Hunter Biden and Ukraine, Joe Biden has given him a pardon.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that, and
during his final days in office.
I was shocked at how old Hunter Biden looked.
He's like 50 something.
I
right?
know, man. I pictured him being some kind of 20-year-old frat boy, but I guess Biden's so old.
No, he's
Yeah.
just a wild boy, is what he is.
Yeah, well, he's a wild, transvestite demon lizard man. But
All right.
yeah. So is Trump going to pardon the January 6th guys?
That's the big question, right?
I mean, QAnon shaman, all he did was just put his butt cheeks all over Pelosi's desk, right? I mean, that's heroic compared to stealing laptops and doing cocaine on the laptops.
Speaking of January 6th, John, go back to the list. I've got an article here. It's I think the second to last one. So, we've covered the Georgia Guidestones. We've covered the monoliths in Nevada. This monument popped up in Washington of poop on Pelosi's desk. According to this particular source, a neo-Nazi tiki torch of poop on Pelosi's desk mysteriously appeared in D.C. And that is exactly what it is. There's a plaque, and if we scroll down, I think you can read it. But I can't read that. That's way too small. Sorry.
Zoom in a little bit.
But it basically says this memorializes the heroic the heroic. Let's see. This memorial honors the brave men and women who broke into the United States Capitol on January 6th to loot, urinate, and defecate throughout these hallowed halls in order to overturn an election. President Trump celebrates these heroes of January 6th as unbelievable patriots and warriors. This monument stands as a testament to their daring sacrifice and lasting legacy.
Dude, that is awesome. I bet Barron funded that. I bet he was like, "Hey, I'm almost an adult now. Trump, Dad, give me like $50,000 just to go have fun on the town." And I
Right.
bet he bought that.
I hope that's
And
the case.
Barron, we love you for making that. It was very well done, and yeah, they are patriots. Because what's in the Declaration of Independence? If the government, I'm butchering it, but if it gets to the point where it's too corrupt,
Right.
it's the duty of the citizens to rebel. And hey, the CIA freaking got in there and led the charge, but I mean, boy, would it have been fun to be there. I mean, you talk
Would've been
about
wild.
demo derby kind of mentality on steroids, going into the Capitol like that.
It had to have been
I mean-
something. I didn't realize that people were legitimately in her desk, but some guy took a in Pelosi's desk. Which is just wild.
that's disgusting, but also hilarious.
Yeah. Another thing that I was unaware of was how long some of these guys got sentenced to prison.
Yeah, man.
One of these fellas was in jail for a year. Another guy was in jail for 4 years. That is insane. I mean, I'm not suggesting you go out and take a on your neighbor's porch, right? I'm not suggesting that. But that seems like a long-ass time to spend in jail for taking a in somebody's desk, you know?
Okay. One of those things is not like Nancy Pelosi is not your neighbor. She's a she-demon from the ninth layer of hell.
Okay. Right, but you understand my point.
Pooping on your neighbor and pooping on Satan. I mean, one of those things is good. So I am 100% with this guy, whoever did that.
Also, there are people who are still in prison for
Yeah.
January 6th.
Right.
And in brutal prison sentences who spent like a crap load of time in like solitary confinement.
That
like
is
people
insane.
who've gotten like their lives completely ruined for basically just taking a unguided tour of the Capitol.
Right. Hanging out with the boys on the Capitol. It's not a big deal.
That they paid for, right? In theory, right? It's all paid for by our tax dollars. So don't we have a right to go in there? Isn't that our capital?
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what we vote for? Isn't that the American way?
We're
Like,
just
what a
taking
joke.
back our property.
Yeah, what a double think joke, man.
Yeah,
did they wreck
that's
any of the
insane.
statues? I haven't really looked into that whole thing.
I mean, I'm sure there must have been some defacement, but at the end of the day, you know, the worst anybody should have to deal with from that is like a fine.
Yeah, I just hope nobody got Andrew. That's all. That was my whole point.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
leave Andrew alone.
Wanna
Let
make
him,
sure Andy J was okay.
right. Let him stand strong. Take out whoever's from California. I'm sure they suck.
Yeah, no, that might be my favorite national monument now.
Yeah, and I'm ascribing it to Barron. You heard it right here first on the Veritas Road. Barron Trump made that. We love you.
How close is this like to the National Mall? Because
I mean,
that
you
would
can see
be
the Capitol
hilarious.
right there. I don't know how. I don't know too much about the geography of Washington anymore.
Yeah, it looks
Nor
like
did I ever.
looks like
but,
right across the street.
It looks like it's pretty close. Like it's right there, on or near Capitol Hill.
But that picture's clearly old because all the leaves are greener in the trees, and it's freaking December right now. So
When did this article run? October 31st. So
that doesn't look very fallish.
a
to
little
me.
over a month ago.
Still,
Well, we had a warm fall, so
that's
they
true.
may have still been green.
That's true. I don't know.
They also left that up for, according to the article, they left that up for over a week.
Oh, they took it down?
I don't know if it's still there or not.
What
but
right
they
did-
left it up for at least a week.
I don't know.
Like,
Got-
I don't care about going and seeing really any of the national. Like, I don't care about Mount Rushmore. I don't care about the Lincoln Memorial. I don't care about the Washington Monument. I would go see that.
Dude, Mount Rushmore's in South Dakota. But
Well, that's yeah. I'm just saying I wouldn't travel to. I'm not going to try to go see that. You know,
okay,
I don't care about seeing it. I would go see that one.
you'd pay, how much it costs a flight to D.C. on Southwest. You'd pay $1,200 to get there just to go look at that.
It does
poop desk?
not cost that much to fly to Washington.
I bet there and back it would.
No, you'd probably get there and back for like $300.
I don't believe that.
100%. Yeah. Let's look up flights.
I'm doing that.
It's
'Cause-
got to be close. Like, Price is Right situation. It's got to be closer to my price than your price.
Absolutely.
For a round trip to Washington.
I'm saying $300-400 round
Uh,
trip. It's not that far.
Florida didn't have nothing to do with it. Just get on a flight in general is just freaking expensive, man.
Yeah, but a cheap Southwest flight, bro. I bet one-way ticket's less than $200.
Well, I'm saying round trip.
All right, so double that. And this is important.
Can
This
you
is
bu-
important stuff we're discussing.
Can
right
you
now.
buy 2 one-way tickets? Why did I?
Yes, that's called a round trip ticket. All right, you got to hit the search button, John.
Well, obviously it's going to be more. I'm agreeing. I'm helping Carson out here, but it's going to be more expensive when you get closer. So, well, maybe it's
Is that round trip?
still expensive, but it's not $1,200.
No. Yeah. So there you go.
Still a lot of money to spend.
I mean, it is. I'm not debating that point. Flying's not cheap. Just saying it's not that expensive. Anyway, moving on. That's a great monument. That's my favorite national monument now. I'm calling that a national monument.
Well,
I don't know if it counts as one, but I'm calling it
Didn't
one.
you say it's not there anymore?
I don't know if it is or not. So
Oh.
I don't know.
I thought you said they left it up for a week. Did
They
you
left it up
just
for at
pull
least
that
a
up
week.
out of your butthole.
No, so somebody applied for a permit for that. Some organization applied for a permit for that.
Was it like Trump International? Was
no,
that the
It
organization?
had some weird name. I think it's toward the bottom of the article, John, if you're trying to find it.
Yeah, hey, yeah. Find the
Um,
name of that. I'm interested in that.
But someone applied for a permit for that. They granted it for like 3 or 4 days, and then they applied for an extension, and they were granted the extension as well, and it amounted to a week or more.
Who applied for the permit, John? Why don't you just
Civic Crafted LLC.
Ooh, interesting, man. That's a CC right there. I wonder. I don't know. That's probably a rabbit hole we can dive down. Depending on what state they're incorporated in, we could look it up on the Secretary of State and see who the managing member was.
Wow. Whoever they are, they're a national treasure.
Yeah. I bet Barron is CEO of that secretly.
Do they have a website?
Oh, yes. Where are they out of? Look at that guy.
Oh my gosh.
Look at that guy.
Is this Civic Crafted LLC?
It's the first thing that came up.
Oh, that doesn't mean anything. I like how they're just giant piles of in in the Google images. That's just a core trying to find the people who made it. I doubt they have. Somebody probably just created it to be able to.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Somebody might
I
have just
sincerely doubt it's
capitalized on the publicity and made a fake website.
yeah.
And that's Civic LLC.
We can go down this. We can go down this rabbit hole later. What's Murph's next story?
I don't even know. I thought I had 4. I don't remember.
I'm gonna have to piss soon, guys.
Yeah. I know. I do remember reading this. I did this separately from all the other 4. This is wild. So in 2022, they sent this submarine down there in Antarctica, and it found a bunch of like stuff and science stuff. Science. Yeah.
Right. Science did that.
Right. So then, in 2024, they were all excited, and they sent this RAN submarine back, right? And see what color it is. And it's
orange.
Right, which is 33 in gematria. Gematria, and RAN is also 33, and it's disappearing in Antarctica. So just more mysterious crap in Antarctica disappears on some ice shelf, looking for underwater structures.
Oh, the boat disappeared?
Yeah.
Damn.
No,
is anybody in it?
No, it's like a robot.
Oh, so it's like a drone.
Right. But still, I mean, that would suck. You spend forever.
Yeah.
All these scientists on there, they're spending a boat ton of time and money. And
A ton of time. Huh?
And then they just lose their baby, their submarine.
That's unfortunate.
But I was mostly interested, obviously, because of the location, and then the color and name of that thing is very interesting to me.
What's the official story about what they think happened to it?
It got jammed in some kind of unexplored underwater topography. They're like, hey, it might have gotten stuck on some kind of underwater rock.
The top scientists in the world who work on this, that's the best they can come up with?
Yeah.
We think it might have got jammed a little bit. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they also said a
Impressive.
seal might have bit it, right? That's how I'm... Interference by marine animal, such as seals. What? I'd be scared of a seal bite.
I mean, me too.
Would you want to get bit by a seal?
That's almost as scary as a fish bite.
Are you making fun of that?
A seal bit our boat and it went down.
I don't know. It says interference by marine animals such as seals. I'm thinking bite. I mean,
so it didn't say that in the article.
no, that's what I'm inferring from it.
I thought, okay. I thought they came out and said, hey, we think our might have gotten a seal bite.
No, they said interference. Well, read it. Interference by marine animals such as seals, which are known to interact with underwater equipment. And I read that and I think, well, it must have it bit it. Okay, that's what I think. But
I gotta take a piss. I'll be right back.
Okay. Sorry for cursing, John. Just to go ahead and edit. You'll have to edit that out. I try not to do that.
That's fine.
It's just been a heck of a day. What's the third thing? A technical failure that caused RAN to lose orientation or control. So that just means it's floating out there in the middle of the ocean, right?
Yeah.
So somebody's going to get fired if that's what happened.
Yeah.
That's more believable than a seal biting it.
Well, it doesn't. I would assume it maybe the seal rammed into it or something more than bit this gigantic hunk of whatever metal they made it out
Well,
of.
wouldn't it run into it because it wants to eat it?
No, it just collided with it, but on accident.
Because it wants to eat it on
No,
accident?
it's
What are the
just-
odds of that? The ocean's
there's a-
humongous.
Yeah, and there's a load of seals, so I don't know.
I'm thinking it's a case of mistaken predatoriness. Predatoriness? Oh, the nature of being
Okay,
a predator?
Seals eat tiny fish.
They eat penguins, dude.
Yeah, and penguins are way smaller than this thing.
I don't know. Emperor
So
penguins
I
are
wouldn't
huge.
say it's a mistaken.
There,
It's like for prey.
and there are some humongous.
That's not.
Have you ever seen Happy Feet? There are some humongous, scary seals in Antarctica that look like the devil.
Okay, Happy Feet is maybe not the best
I've never seen Happy
description.
Feet.
It's not a documentary, so
Isn't that a cartoon?
it's
Yeah.
a CGI cartoon.
Yeah,
So
with,
yes.
with the whole Antarctic propaganda.
Oh. Well, I'm sorry that this boat got bitten by a seal. That's unfortunate.
I am too.
I'm sorry for these scientists.
University of Gothenburg.
They were doing important work about what the hell are people supposedly studying down there? That's what I want to know.
Krill, ice, the krill from a billion years ago. I mean, just wasting humongous amounts of money down there.
Yeah.
What they're actually doing, I don't know. It's probably an Ender's Game type thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's all that talk about like directed energy weapons down there and all that other nonsense. So who knows?
I mean, literally, these people can be going down there thinking they're doing one thing, and then the data they're sending back to whoever's funding this is looking at it in a completely different way, like Ender's Game. You just don't. It's hard to tell.
That's possible. I don't think that. I don't wonder about that as much with Antarctica, just simply because I haven't thought that way. I think that about CERN for sure.
Well, about just anything in government, corporate world, it's so compartmentalized that you just do your job, and you're told what your job is, and you don't question it. And to whoever's telling you what to do, it could be something completely different.
And we're gonna use propaganda to make you think of your job as like this noble thing.
That's
and
right.
Really, you're just going in to just like click a button or some nonsense.
Right.
Like, that's insane.
And look at this woman scientist here. Like she's being a scientist. She's for women. She's for saving penguins. She's for environmentalism.
She's gonna be diabetic just by looking at her. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so I just thought that was interesting because of the name and the color.
I'm going to be scared of a seal bite next time I go to the beach.
Well, if you got a better idea, I don't know what John was trying to argue with me.
Why are you trying to argue with him, John?
He said that the seal mistaked it as prey.
Mistook it as
prey, which is like, I don't think that's possible.
Well,
it's a giant-ass orange metal tube.
John would say, it just hit it by accident.
Oh, that's more plausible than it was trying to eat it.
Maybe.
Mistaking it for a small fish.
Maybe. The seal was pissed off that it was in its area, and it bit it.
I'd believe that over an accident,
right?
Because the ocean's like 20,000. It's like 20,000 square miles.
So if we're gonna attribute this to a seal bite, that's probably what it was.
Right, defensive territory.
Yeah,
I like it.
Mama seal got mad. It got too near babies.
All right. So we've settled this.
Yeah.
John's explanation was terrible. Mine was also terrible, but slightly less. Carson, you had the best one. You take home the prize.
All right. And as a reward, we'll go on to my next article.
All right.
Good old fish bite. I think we're on. I think that's the wrong one, John. Go to the one above that. I think that's
Poop Desk.
Oh, we're on my last one.
Oh, did you also have the same one I did?
Yeah. Oh, I forget. Oh, I did. Yeah.
Oh.
This is the one about drones flying over New Jersey, which is similar but not.
Well, yours is more broad.
Right.
Because mine was a specific place in New Jersey.
Right. Well, this says something about them asking for people to give them information. Which, the way you were talking, it sounds like those were run by the Secret Service or some other government entity.
Or
they simply spotted near his golf course.
Yeah, you said the Secret Service, but who knows? They don't know who's running it.
Okay. So then these are the same thing.
Based on with the article I read, they don't know who it's from. But with that being said, I would 100% not put it past FBI, CIA to be like, hey, tell us about these drones, even though they're actually doing it,
Right.
Like, you can't, just because they're feigning like they don't know what's happening, in no way means that they do not actually know what's happening.
Right.
And that, again, it could be part of the whole mystery around Trump thing when it's 100% just a government orchestrated plan.
Yeah.
Seems to me it could be part of setting up Bluebeam because, Trump has been big on disclosing all the UFO information. And then
he went on Rogan and said that he was going to release all the information, and Rogan pressed him, to tell him what Trump has no clue. He doesn't look into that stuff.
He straight up said that UFOs are just boring. Trump was
exactly.
like, UFOs are boring. I don't really care. They're boring.
Which, I mean, if you're Trump, right? Are you going to be that interested in UFOs? If you run, a multi-billion-dollar real estate, whatever he runs, do you give two shits about UFOs? If you've got Melania as your wife, if you're the president of the do you give two Okay, no, you don't. You're going home to get some supermodel. Okay, you're gonna go play a couple rounds of golf with the boys, go govern a little bit, chat with Putin, and hit the sack. That's what you're gonna do. You don't give a about UFOs.
I don't know. I mean, I would even if I was in even if I was in Trump's position. Like I'd be like, oh, hey, this is interesting. Like I might not organize a task force, but I'd be like, tell me a little more. General General, what's your name?
I mean, you would as you, but I'm saying like, I don't know. I for Trump, I get not caring about UFOs. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, and clearly there's like not millions, but like tons of levels of secrecy above Trump. I mean, that's the whole idea of the deep state anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So he probably, he
probably doesn't know.
Yeah, does he know? Does he know about him? I don't know. I don't know. And to John's point about Blue Beam, I mean, I don't think a drone's high enough for Blue Beam personally. I think that's a Starlink thing, but
I would tend to agree with you, especially given the fact that people seem to have identified these as just like big drones. Like
it could be, John.
Using those to set up Blue Beam just doesn't seem like an easy way to do that.
My take is it's just a bunch of random unidentified flying in the air, and it seems like that's just has been slowly increasing in the news cycle over the past few months. That might be starting to pave the way for that.
Well, I mean, if specifically that is the case, if it's just a bunch of random unidentified, then that's one thing. If people are spotting these and saying, "Hey, that's a big ass drone that's the size of a car," and they can clearly see that, that's a whole nother thing. And at least the article, he pulled up, that seemed to be the connotation of the way they were discussing them was like, "Hey, people saw a bunch of giant drones for what they were there for whatever reason, but they were at least identifiable as big ass drones that looked like vehicles." Now, if that's not the case, right? If they're just these objects that are in the sky, then this is a whole nother story, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't really have much of an opinion other than it's weird and it's reeks of don't trust any of it at all.
I mean, it's super weird, but also you have to remember, like, FAA regulation-wise, you don't need any kind of, like, authority or anything. I have my drone license, by the way. I'm a special point.
It's you. You're doing this.
But you don't need like any authority to fly a drone really of any size over a place up to like 400 feet. You can just do what you want. And so like, and actually above that, but you can pretty much fly your drone wherever you want as long as it's not in controlled airspace. You can do what you want.
Okay.
Well, and so who knows?
So you're saying I should go flying a drone?
It's completely unregulated is the point. Yeah. So, like, it could be anybody.
Well, as it should be.
Yeah, I completely agree. Point being, though, like, it could literally be, like, Joe Blow, who's an engineer at, MIT or wherever, who's just building a big-ass drone in his garage for fun, Like,
yeah,
it could be that.
I think anything, first of all, if there's multiple, that's mega expensive. That's got to be corporate money. I don't think it's just some dude in his garage building a humongous drone.
And, I mean, I would tend to agree with you.
But... Yeah. I mean, who really knows? If we got a problem with it,
shoot them down.
Right. And not the feds. State of New Jersey, not them. The Republic of New Jersey, the common law people, if it's flying over your house, get your blunderbuss out, shoot it down. Problem solved.
I think too many people have blunderbusses.
Right. If you don't like them, defend your territory. How does the air work, though, in law, I wonder?
I don't know. That I'm not sure of. I don't know if you have, like, United States legal rights to shoot things down over your property or not.
Like, how much does your property, like, if you own a piece of property in common law, how does it just extend up to however high, depending on your viewpoint goes, like, either ad infinitum?
Were that the case, then you could shoot down passenger planes over your house. So probably not that.
Well, then we got to set the line then, right?
Right.
Or maybe passenger planes are illegal. Or unlawful, excuse me.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's an interesting thought, man.
Well, it is. Don't go shooting down passenger planes. I'm not suggesting that.
Oh, yeah, but also who the heck could actually do that? Like people don't own SAMs. Not even our
500. Apparently, your control over your airspace ends at or about 500 feet above the ground, as established by apparently a Supreme Court case. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is.
How the hell did we wind up here?
I don't know.
I That's insane.
Wonder what happened in that case.
Yeah. I bet somebody shot down something that was over 500 feet over their house.
How though? That's one heck of a shot, man.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, you'd have to have a Barrett 50 cal and have the luckiest shot of your life to even have a chance at doing that.
Right. That's a great question.
Oh, that would take multiple lifetimes. There's no way a commoner could shoot down
This
an
was
airplane.
in 1946, so I doubt it was somebody just shooting something down.
All right. Yeah, definitely not.
Oh, it's about an airport next to a chicken farm. And
How
the
hell?
the farmers seem to be angry about the length of the runway or something, about how the planes would affect their chickens.
I get that. That'd be annoying.
So,
Yeah, dude, that's fair. I mean, think about how does this apply? Total tangent here.
Okay.
San Diego Airport, we're going down. We're landing.
All right.
2012, and we are like this far. It seems like we are this high above just houses.
Right.
Right. Say you've got a kid in there. You're a hardworking mom or dad. Say you're a single mom or dad. I'm a single dad. All right. I just got my kid down for a nap. Right. And let's say you're not renting. Let's say by some miracle you own a house in this area. And boom, 747 comes. It sounds like freaking the Tunguska explosion in your ear. Wakes up your kid. What can you do about it?
Who was there first? The airport or you?
That's true. That's a good point. Probably at this point, most likely the airport. But
Right.
maybe there is some bastion where it's been passed through your family forever.
I mean, perhaps, but my thing would be just like don't move next to the airport.
Yeah. And then probably that's why this was happening in 1948. They built the airport next to that.
Right.
That's
In which
that's a good
case,
point.
I would argue they have a right to be pissed. Don't build an airport next to my house.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But the flip side of that is if somebody else owns that property and they built an airport, you know, like, what are you going to do? It's their property. They get to build an airport on it.
Well, that's literally the whole point of this case because
Right.
they're flying through your property.
Exactly.
You can't
Yeah.
veto. If it was a veto, right, if they just meant, you know. But, hey, you got to land, and you got to go through my property to land. This ain't right. No trespassing. Get your plane out of my land.
Exactly.
That's an interesting debate, man.
Yeah.
It gets the 3D.
Yeah.
It's 3D of common law.
3D property lines.
Yeah. Who would have thought we would have ended up there?
If I were him, I would have, well.
After talking about the Pope's bruise, we somehow ended up on where do airplanes trespass?
Forgot about the Pope's bruise. Oh, my gosh. How does that make news? I want to be so big my bruises make news. That's my new goal in life. I want to be such a big deal. People write about my bruise.
Are you getting bruises?
No.
Is there something I need to know
But-
about? I'm sorry. It's going to
Thanks.
be okay. I hope you find value in yourself.
Yeah, it's an abusive relationship. It's fine.
Yeah,
The news is wild.
it is. So, I mean, you could just go. Like, I literally spent like 30 minutes looking at news story. You could go forever. We could have a list of 500 different articles, and they'd all be ridiculous. And it's just how.
I had to stop myself today and yesterday and earlier in the looking through. There are so many that are so absurd. On pick a news carrier. What a news station,
Outlet.
news outlet.
Different CIA line item.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it really is.
Pick a journalistic organization. It's all nuts.
Yep.
So that's why we do these every so often.
Yeah, it's fun.
To
It's a
highlight
clown-
how wild
It's
it
a
is.
clown world, man. It's all just a big joke.
Yeah. So, all right. Catch us next time for episode 33, right?
That's right. The Freemasons.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun.
So we'll tease that. I think we'll think about live streaming that.
All right. Well, we got to get our crap together, and I got to research
Yeah.
big time.
So, all right, folks. Thanks for listening. We will catch you guys next time.